This is impossible.
So how did Stone get onto those drone photos? Did you know?
Well, they were leaked through a website called Pink Tentacle. It's a website I don't know a whole lot about, but he knew about it, and he got those photos and he stuck them up online. And by the way, the URL is www.jimstonefreelance, one word, JIMSTONEFREELANCE.com. The Fukushima report is there in English and Japanese. Now, the drone photos were leaked, and they were classified. Interesting. Recently, I forget the name of the Japanese English the Japanese English news agency. They recently. Yeah, NHK. They recently, and I believe in direct reaction to all this, they released aerial photography of Reactor 3, which exploded in a mushroom cloud. They said, for the first time, restricted airspace has been relaxed, and we got a photo of Reactor 3, and wow, yeah, it's exploded, it's gone. And yet, we're still getting pressure containment readings, right? And I sent that to Stone, and I says, hey, what do you think about this? He wrote me back and he says they doctored that photo. He says, look at my original photo that I put up of Reactor 3 months ago. And you know what? Within 24 hours, that NHK report turned into an error 404 not found.
They ripped it off. They took it off their site.
Yeah, man. It's almost like they were in on our correspondence. Because I says, look, what do you think about this? He says they faked it. That's not actually a real picture of Reactor 3, but they're saying it is. And then they pulled the report. And that was posted on Rents, I believe. So,
all right. Well, listen, can we hold on there again there? We're going to go into the song there, James, with James Farganne. Please stay tuned.
Make another cup of coffee. I'll be right here. So can I kind of recap? Boil it down to the salt. Reactor 4 was offline. Okay? So how do you explain the obliteration of Reactor 4? Reactors 1, 3, and 4 were obliterated. Now, the only explanation for that, those reactors had triple redundancy passive cooling systems that required no electricity, and yet they exploded. And Reactor 4 was offline. So this is smoking gun evidence of, even if the earthquake theory, the seabed nuke aside, what happened at Fukushima was impossible. Could not have happened without tampering via the Stuxnet virus. And Jim Stone revealed this, and he's suffering for it.
Where is Jim Stone now?
I have no idea. He can't reveal. Our email is monitored, and he cannot reveal to me. I don't even know his real name. I just know what he's done, and I know he's a real human being, and he has suffered just despicably for what he has done. He's been sleeping out in the woods. He's been eluding. He's been in and out of jail, and God knows how he managed to slip through. But basically, they tried to incarcerate him on completely trumped up charges, and he did prove that they were trumped up charges. But he removed that information from his website because he's playing a kind of cat and mouse game with the authorities. But he's been sleeping out in the woods, and it's a really amazing story.
Well, it's an interesting story. I mean, it sounds like a story that as well. We had a guy called Joe. Is it Joe Villas? Joe Villas. Yeah. You remember him? He was talking about the Bali bombing, which we had in Australia here, and
that's right.
And they said it was a fertilizer bomb that blew up the Sari Club, but there's evidence that he's shown evidence that it was nuked. A mini nuke had happened because of the enforcement of of the concrete that was there, and he was and he did a whole lot of thing about Port Arthur massacre, which we won out, which in Australia, if you don't know, we lost our gun law that there was no alone attack, but he said it was from Israel as well. Now he died, unfortunately. He died from a heart attack. He put this all out there. Sorry?
An induced heart attack.
These people like Jim Stone, who's putting it out there, is they're under constant threat.
I think he's going to be all right. He's an extremely smart man. All I know is that he's been roughing it out. He was living in a tent, and even the tent got taken away from him. And from what I understand, he's about to make his last leap towards safety. He's had some people slip him some funds. His PayPal account got shut off, but he still managed to make it. So I think he's gonna come through, and the world's gonna be a better place for it.
James, just a quick question. Any ideas? Something like $100 million was donated to the people of Japan during the so-called tsunami down at Fukushima and that area. Is there any idea where all this $100 million has gone, and who's pilfered it and who's stolen it?
I have no idea, but I would say if you're donating to the Red Cross, you're basically giving your money away to crooks, from what I understand. But that's all I really care to say about that, because I just don't know.
Now with Jim Stone. And Israel destroyed the Fukushima reactors. Now, the thing is, radioactive. What's going on with Japan? And people saying there is no radiation. Well, there's not what the mainstream or sometimes the alternative media have said. There's lots that's going on. Well, what's your thing about the radiation? The people have their Geiger meters out in Japan. If this has happened, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Fulford says that he's got his Geiger counters and it's all a big psyop. Stone issued a special article to the people in Japan, telling them, basically what safe levels are, and my personal feeling is that, a lot of radiation was released. These reactors were obliterated, right? And there was a lot of waste in the pools. So common sense tells me that a lot of radiation was released. But then again, I have great respect for Fulford, and Stone has great respect for Fulford. And Fulford is saying that, it's a big psyop and don't buy into it. That's why Fulford severed relations with Rents, because he said Rents was fear-mongering.
Interesting stuff. It has sort of put a split down the middle for the and Mako. Also, David Icke has not distributed his for the articles that you put your articles on Mako's Henry Mako's website, which is henrymako.com. So, what's the future there, James, for you for reporting more for Jim Stone as well, and for yourself?
Well, I'm just I just want him to make it to safety and survive and continue putting truth out, because he's about a lot more than Fukushima. Years ago, he put out a report called Tainted Nightmare with his wife Sarah Stone, who's a doctor of pharmacology, and that report went so viral that it caused governments to demand a reissue of swine flu vaccine that was non-toxic, not laced with squalene and mercury. He's also put out reports on HARP and chemtrails. He's done a lot of good investigative work, and the most important thing I think that he will have done once he gets to safety and releases it is that he hacked into the the corporate computers of GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals. He extracted 20,000 pages of classified reports that prove that antidepressants,
Prozac and that,
Prozac, Paxil,
Zoloft,
all antidepressants are a direct attack on humanity. They destroy the frontal lobe. They destroy all the finer human emotions and spirituality, and they leave the lizard brain intact. It absolutely what it does is like they're called reuptake inhibitors. Neurons are like electrical components, right? And the serotonin and other neurotransmitters. If a nerve cell is getting hit too much, it releases its neurotransmitter to protect itself. It goes offline. These drugs cause the neurons to be firing all the time, 24/7, and after 3 weeks they burn out, and then they regenerate, but you only get so many regenerations in your lifetime, and then the brain can't repair itself anymore. So he has released testimony from lots of people who have had their lives destroyed by these things, and I will say I'm a survivor. I was on these medications for far too long. I got off of them, and I have neuron damage from it. I've got permanent ringing in my ears and other symptoms. And he told me that the only reason that I'm still like alive mentally is that 20% of the population are kind of like naturally resistant
and spiritually aware, and there's the whole spiritual thing as well, is sort of breaking through. It's a major lobotomized. We've got to wrap it up there, James. I'd like to have you back on Workers Radio, but I'm leaving in 1 week, but we'll do something else.
Has any, like, people have different talents. If anybody has any ideas on how to get on board and help this man, please visit my blog at farganne.wordpress.com. Drop me a line, and let's get to work.
Good on you, James. Thanks for coming on all the way from Korea, James Farganne.
Thanks, James.
Cheers, James. Come on Workers Radio.
And thank you guys, man.